In the May rain of Nanyang, a hand reaches out, catching the falling drops. A woman in an elegant green gown stands on a balcony, firmly rejecting an arranged marriage and declaring she will never marry Li Kao. With an annoyed sigh, she is identified as Li Qiao of the Li family, now facing Shang Lu of the Shang family. Li Kao internally scoffs at the cliché of a marriage arranged at birth, finding it utterly tiresome. She bluntly advises Shang Lu to abandon any hope of marrying her, and to her surprise, he calmly agrees. With his arms crossed, Shang Lu begins to add another condition, telling her not to expect him to. He turns and walks away, ignoring Li Kao as she calls after him, who muses on the secret origins of their family's arrangement. As she walks away in her black heels, Li Kao thinks that breaking the engagement will still be a hassle. Plucking a red rose, she feels relieved he initiated the cancellation, saving her trouble, but her thoughts are cut short by a desperate plea for help. Startled, Li Kao turns towards the sound, coming from a nearby building. A badly beaten man kneels on the floor, begging a Master Yan to spare his life. Master Yan, a stern man in a black suit, sentences the man to the dark hall for forgetting Nanyang's rules, ignoring his desperate pleas as he's dragged away. Master Yan's sharp gaze darts to the side, sensing he's being watched. Hiding amongst the rain-soaked leaves, a startled Li Kao fears she has been discovered. Shang Lu confronts Li Kao, accusing her of pestering him, but she pivots, asking if he is a Chinese medicine doctor. After confirming he is, Shang Lu insults Li Kao, suggesting the rain damaged her brain, making her realize he knows she was eavesdropping. As the imposing Master Yan looks on, Shang Lu glances up nervously and addresses him as Big Brother. Li Chao is stunned, realizing the formidable man is Shang Lu's older brother. She recognizes him as Shang Yu, also known as Shang Xiaoyan, the powerful and feared underground overlord of Nanyang. An attendant approaches, informing the young master that the master has summoned him. Shang Xiaoyan calmly wipes his hands with a cloth, a cigarette between his lips, watching the scene unfold. Shang Lu tries to explain, but his older brother cuts him off, coolly stating Li Chao simply barged in by mistake. As their eyes meet, Li Chao is momentarily captivated, thinking he's unbelievably handsome. Shang Lu's voice rings out, declaring that the cancellation of the engagement was already agreed upon. Li Chao coolly agrees, telling them to just cancel it. Shang Lu gloats, asking Li Qiao what she has to say now that his powerful older brother has agreed to the cancellation. Li Qiao gives Shang Lu a pointed look, coolly stating that her eyesight has always been very good. When Shang Lu asks what her eyesight has to do with anything, Shang Xiaoyan bluntly clarifies that she's not interested in him because she has good taste. Turning to leave, Li Kao formally introduces herself. Shang Xiaoyan watches her retreat, his expression unreadable as she moves through the garden. Through a moongate, the two brothers watch as Li Kao walks away into the rainy night. With a final glance over her shoulder, Li Kao announces that she will take her leave. Shang Xiaoyan watches her go, a thoughtful look in his eyes. Li Chao disappears into the garden, leaving the two brothers alone in the pavilion. Shang Xiaoyan tells his younger brother he must be the one to go to the Li family and explain the cancellation. Shang Lu falls silent, looking down as his intimidating older brother walks past him. Shang Xiaoyan stops and asks sharply, "Did you touch her?" which sends Shang Lu into a panic as he frantically denies it. After a slight, Shang Xiaoyan listens as his brother asks if he'll come with him to the Li family to formalize the cancellation. The next day, at the luxurious estate of the Li family, their third son, Li Cheng, a merchant from the border, arrives. Li Cheng greets his older brother, Li Jun, the eldest son, and a high-ranking official in Nanyang. Li Cheng explains he rushed back from the border because he heard Shang Lu wanted to break off the engagement and couldn't let their sister, Kap Kao, be disrespected. He angrily questions how their second brother could let this happen, declaring both he and Shang Lu deserve a beating. Just then, the second son, Li Yan, an art dealer, appears and says their parents and Kiao Kao are waiting inside. Ouch! Li Jun and Li Cheng immediately start roughing up Li Yan, blaming his obsession with painting for him failing to protect Kiao Kao, who begs them to stop. From the sofa, Li Tiao encourages her brothers, telling them to keep hitting him because she's still not over it. Li Guangming, the family patriarch, fumes with anger, declaring that Shang Lu has gone too far. Li Kao calmly reminds her furious father to be gentle with the expensive teacup he's about to crush. Her mother, Duan Shuyuan, consoles her, saying the whole family's heart aches over the grievance she suffered. With A ding from a phone. Her mother urges the three brothers to figure out how to get justice for Chao Chao. Li Chao calmly states there's no need, as she wants to cancel the outdated arranged marriage just as much as he does. Li Chao's mother gives her husband a pointed look, and he immediately falls silent, sweating nervously. Ahem, Li Qiao interjects that teaching Sheng Lu a lesson is the priority, then announces she is going out. Ding! Her mother asks where she's going, and Li Qiao replies that she's meeting Tang Getin at the casino. Her parents wish her well as her brothers promise they are on standby 24/7, prompting Li Qiao to inwardly comment on her lively family. She privately notes that for all their doting, her family remains surprisingly vague about the engagement itself. The scene shifts to a glamorous casino at night, where Li Qiao arrives and steps out of a vehicle. Inside at the bar, a bartender greets her as Boss Chow, but she politely reminds him not to call her that anymore. He argues that as the owner of 45% of the casino, the title is only right, and she responds with a subtle smile while sipping her wine. Their conversation is interrupted when the man from the alley bursts in, shouting for Shang Shaoyan and demanding to know where his brother is. He declares that this is a society ruled by law, and they can't hide the truth, as Li Qiao listens thoughtfully. Looking toward a private area, she wonders aloud if the person he's seeking is really the powerful Shang Shaoyan. The bartender confirms it is, detailing how Shang Shaoyan's Yanhuan group controls Nanyang's entire economy, making him the undisputed overlord. From a private booth, Shang Shaoyan glances over, his gaze locking with Li Qiao's across the bustling room. A wide view shows the considerable distance separating them within the opulent casino. The two hold their intense gaze, a silent and charged moment stretching between them. Shang Shaoyan calmly extinguishes his cigarette, commends the man's courage, and then coldly invites him to come along so he can show him his brother. As Shang Shaoyan's men lead the distraught man away, Li Qiao watches the entire exchange from the bar. An attendant approaches, inviting Miss Lai to meet with Master Yan, a move she inwardly recognizes as a first for him. Setting her wine glass down with a soft clink, Li Qiao coolly accepts the invitation and tells the man to lead the way. Outside, the Yanhuan group's convoy awaits, and the attendant respectfully holds a car door open for her. Seated inside, Shang Shaoyan looks up from a file and asks if she came alone. Li Qiao looks back at him and confirms that she is indeed alone. He offers to take her home, but she coolly declines, stating that she drove herself. He rubs his brow with a weary sigh, prompting her to silently wonder if he's tired. Changing her mind, Li Qiao accepts his offer, using the excuse that she had been drinking, and slides into the seat beside him. They ride in silence, the car moving through the illuminated city streets as they sit quietly together. Li Qiao decides to break the silence with a question, and he curtly tells her to ask, making her think how cold he is. She cuts to the chase, asking him directly how her engagement to Shang Lu was arranged in the first place. After he asks if her father never told her, she points out the oddity. It was arranged in the womb, but Shang Lu is 3 years older. He dismisses her curiosity, asking why its origins matter now that the engagement is being canceled. Conceding his point, she leans in and boldly asks why the engagement wasn't between him and her instead, catching him off guard. With a loud screech, the car slams to a halt, jolting Li Qiao forward with a startled Shang Shaoyan reacts instantly, his arms shooting out to steady her, bringing their faces incredibly close. The driver apologizes profusely, but Shang Shaoyan, while straightening his tie, coldly tells him to be more careful. Her phone rings with a call from her friend, wondering where she is, but Li Qiao simply stares at the screen in silence. When he asks if she's really not there with a friend, she lies and says she doesn't know the caller, to which he simply replies, "I see." The car pulls up to the modern, brightly lit exterior of the Li family's villa. Li Qiao steps out of the car and walks toward the entrance of her home under the night sky. Shang Shaoyan informs her that Shang Lu will arrive tomorrow to apologize, and she coolly agrees to see him then. After she enters her house, an attendant informs Master Yan that he's been summoned to Parma, but he flatly refuses to go back tomorrow. The nervous attendant wonders if this woman is the cause, as Shang Shaoyan watches her disappear before telling the driver to go. Later, a warning flashes on Li Qiao's computer screen, making her realize that Shang Shaoyan's security is so tight that even her best hacker couldn't find anything. Yawn, she gives up for the night, deciding she'll have to probe for information from him herself. Thinking she will see him again tomorrow, she lies down and drifts to sleep. The next morning at 9 o'clock, Shanglu rings the doorbell at the Li residence, grumbling about being forced to cancel an engagement he never arranged. The large gates swing open to reveal a silent, imposing lineup of maids waiting for him. Stunned, he realizes it's an army of women, just as they swarm forward, enthusiastically welcoming young Master Shang. Guess they found his weakness. Inside, her brothers watch the show. Li Cheng wants to shoot the brat, while Li Yan complains that a simple allergic reaction is letting him off too easy. Li Jun reminds them he is Shang Xiaoyan's brother, and just as he says the name, he looks out the window and remarks, "Speak of the devil." A sleek black car pulls up, and a man gets out to open the rear door, revealing the arrival of another guest. Dressed in a sharp black suit, a handsome man addresses Cufflink with a cool, confident air. Arriving at a grand estate, he is greeted by a woman in a lavender dress and her parents, who are surprised to see Mr. Shang in person. He apologizes to the older man, Mr. Lai, for causing trouble, but Mr. Lai simply welcomes him inside. He and the woman in the lavender dress lock eyes, sharing a silent and charged moment in the sunlit garden. She glances away, flustered, thinking to herself that he is strangely alluring. A sulking chibi boy with gray hair kneels dejectedly, feeling completely ignored by everyone. Inside a lavish drawing room, the woman from before now greets him more formally as Master Yan. Shang Xiaoyan regards the room with a sharp, unreadable gaze. In a chibi thought bubble, the woman's parents worry that their daughter, Kuao Kao, is being too casual and might offend such a powerful man. Mr. Li formally asks what brings Mr. Shang to visit, and Shang Xiaoyan begins to sincerely apologize for a broken engagement involving someone named Shang Lu. Mr. Li's expression turns serious as he asks if old Master Shang is aware of the broken engagement. Shang Xiaoyan confirms his father doesn't know yet and plans to inform him tomorrow, while a suspicious chibi Li Cao looks on. Li Chao accepts his plan on their behalf, but her father immediately calls out her name, Kiao Kiao, in a stern tone. Her father, Mr. Lai, gives a strained and uneasy look, clearly displeased with her casual attitude. Trying to smooth things over, Mr. Li graciously invites Mr. Shang upstairs to discuss the matter in private. Now alone on a couch, Shang Xiaoyan and Li Chao sit in a tense, thoughtful silence. A young man confronts his mother, demanding to know why she and his father are hiding the truth about an unwanted engagement, but she dismisses his concerns. The mother tells him his father is handling it, but Li Chao realizes her parents don't want to break the engagement at all and resolves to find out why. As Shang Xiaoyan prepares to leave, he tells Mr. Li not to see him off, while Mr. Li says he will await old Master Shang's reply. Just as he reaches his car, Li Qiao calls out urgently, "Master Yan!" She stops him, asserting that she knows what he really came to ask her father about. Looking at him directly, she asks if he can just tell her what's going on instead. After a brief, intense pause, he softly tells her, "Sorry, I can't." She presses on, asking him one last critical question. Is it truly possible for them to break the engagement? He remains silent, and she internally notes that it looks like he isn't going to answer her. He suddenly steps close, pulling her in to whisper that the engagement can be broken, but only if she wants it to be. His words echo in her mind as she processes the condition, "as long as I want." Leaning closer, he looks into her eyes and asks her directly to tell him if that's what she wants. Li Cao confirms she does, and asks if Lord Yan will help her, and he promises to grant her wish. As he holds her, a man's voice suddenly shouts her name, "Chao!" Her brother with glasses confronts them, demanding to know if granting her wish means protecting her from his brother's bullying, while she anxiously awaits Shang Xiaoyan's response. The brother declares that his sibling will face consequences, asking for confirmation as another man is dragged away in the background. The blonde man being hauled off comically wonders aloud if he was adopted, while Shang Xiaoyan and the other brother look on impassively. In a chibi sequence, the blonde brother desperately pleads to be let go, while his brother coolly waves goodbye and tells him they'll see him around. The brother with glasses questions Li Cao about her whispered conversation with Shang Xiaoyan, warning her not to provoke him, and she quickly agrees before heading off to school. He watches her leave, worrying that if she truly angers Shang Xiaoyan, even the powerful Li family won't be able to protect her. The scene shifts to a bright, modern campus building under a clear sky. A friend approaches Li Gao by a black car, asking if she really left with Shang Xiaoyan, the notorious devil of Southeast Asia. After Li Cao denies it, she clarifies that he's not a devil, leaving her friend utterly shocked and speechless. Her friend chases her across campus, demanding to know how she knows Shang Xiaoyan, while a platinum blonde woman observes Li Cao's return from a distance. The platinum blonde woman scoffs, internally mocking Li Cao for having a pretty face but dressing like a pauper. The woman confronts Li Cao, accusing her of having a sugar daddy, but Li Cao's friend defends her, questioning the woman's constant harassment since losing the beauty pageant. With a simple, dismissive leaving, Li Cao turns and walks away from the confrontation with her friends. One friend advises just ignoring the bully, but Li Cao calmly states her father forbids flaunting wealth and that the woman isn't worth her time. Her friend laments this rule, but Li Cao explains she prefers to live quietly, as her family couldn't bear it if she were kidnapped again. A faded newspaper article reveals a dark past. As a 7-year-old, Cao was kidnapped for a massive ransom, and a botched rescue almost killed her. It's revealed that to protect her, her eldest brother entered politics to reform security, while her third brother built a private army. The narration concludes that her second brother, an artist, also dedicates himself to guarding her, as she is the Li family's entire world. Her friend sighs with envy, commenting that her own family situation is nothing like that. A young woman, Tang Ting, complains she's just a trash-picked heiress compared to Chao, who tells her to hurry inside. In her office, Li Cao sends a text asking for Shang Xiaoyan's phone number. Having received the number, Li Cao gazes at her phone, thoughtfully planning her next move. She scoffs at her contact's so-called information network, thinking they should just retire. Aboard a private jet, an attendant shows Shang Xiaoyan a text from Miss Lai, prompting him to wonder how she got his number, a question the nervous attendant also wants answered. Shang Xiaoyan calmly saves her contact information in his phone under the name Li Chao. Back at the office, Tang Ting notices Li Cao's good mood and asks if she finished her thesis. Oh no, Tang Ting panics, realizing that Li Cao's entire thesis, over 10,000 words, has been deleted from the computer. Tang Ting suspects sabotage, noting the computer was left in the dorm with only a simple password, meaning the file corruption was likely intentional. Li Cao calmly deduces that only a person named Jiang Yi would resort to such a petty trick. Declaring she can no longer indulge Jiang Yi's behavior, she easily restores the corrupted file on her laptop. The scene shifts to the Li residence at sunset, with Li Chao seen in a determined reflection. Her brother, Li Yan, appears dressed in a fine white suit, prompting her to joke about him attending a beauty pageant. He invites her to an art exhibition to help him choose paintings with a 60-40 profit split, but she coolly asks if she looks like she needs money. He insists, telling her he just wants to give it to her and urges her to go change clothes. Arriving at the Royal Hotel Art Gallery, Li Chao, now in a stunning black gown, walks arm in arm with Li Yan. As guests admire her beauty, Li Cao notices a painting sponsored by the Yanhuan group and thinks it's quite a coincidence. A disembodied voice calls out, "Darling," as a hand rests on Li Yan's arm. Li Yan asks for his sister's opinion on a painting titled The Reaper. She identifies it as a valuable piece from 1882 that could double in value, prompting him to ask if she's bored. She says no, explaining she was just realizing that since the Yanhuan group organized the event, then Shang Xiaoyan might appear. Just then, an acquaintance greets Li Yan, calling him President Li. Li Yan excuses himself to talk business, asking his sister to wait for him, and she agrees. A man with glasses approaches Li Chao and asks to get to know her, but she flatly tells him she's not interested. He smirks, saying that a beautiful woman with attitude only makes him want to pursue her more. Stopping her, he introduces himself as Zhu Feng, the CEO of Yanhuan Group, which immediately catches her attention. He offers his business card, and she thinks, jackpot, before asking what role Master Yan plays if he's the CEO. Zhu Feng coolly advises her not to ask questions she shouldn't. Intrigued by her question, Zhu Feng asks if she wants to intern at Yanhuan. With a hopeful expression, she asks if she can, and he enthusiastically agrees. The scene transitions to the exterior of an upscale building, the class. A photographer in a hoodie snaps a picture of Li Cao leaving the venue with Zhu Feng. In the car, Li Yan vehemently objects to his sister interning at the Yanhuan group. Riding in the car, Li Cao distracts her brother by mentioning a famous painting he's been seeking. She offers him the painting in exchange for his silence about her internship, flustering him into submission. After a brief negotiation, he agrees to the deal as long as she promises to protect her identity. Later that night, Tang Ting frantically calls Li Cao, telling her that photos of her with a man at the Royal Hotel have surfaced. A scandalous headline on a forum posts Brand's Nanyang Medical University's campus beauty a mistress, threatening her by name. Her friend warns her that the school is involved and she could face delayed graduation, suspecting Jiang Yi is the culprit. Unfazed, Li Chao lies in bed and calmly tells her friend to just let them talk. The morning sun streams into a quiet, elegant room. Li Chao stretches awake and casually checks her phone. She reads a message from someone named Li Shaoquan, reminding her about her thesis defense next Monday. Ting, a sound marks her, turning from a doorway to find Shang Xiaoyan waiting for her. Surprised, she thinks he's back and asks him when he returned from Parma. He confirms he arrived just now. She nervously asks him about the results of his trip. He confirms the engagement was broken off as she wished, and she offers to treat him to a meal as thanks. He gives her an instant rejection, bluntly stating there's no need. Shang Xiaoyan looks at her intently and asks if she knows how to bowl. Li Qiao meets his gaze and calmly replies that she knows a little. After he tells her to come with him, she follows, thinking to herself that rumors of his coldness are wrong. He's actually quite a gentle person. The story's title, Fatal Favoritism, is displayed over a promotional image of Shang Xiaoyan holding Li Qiao. With a loud crash, a bowling ball scatters the pins for a strike as Li Qiao looks on, slightly flustered. Holding a scorecard, Shang Xiaoyan looks at Li Qiao and compliments her impressive performance. Li Qiao thanks him as, in the background, two men complain that Mr. Yan ditched their business meeting to go bowling with a girl. One of the men, with long dark hair, approaches and introduces himself, noting Li Qiao's last name and asking if she's related to Li Qing, whom she confirms is her third brother. His friend scoffs, questioning why she'd call such a famous person Sir, and asking if she even knows who he is. When she asks if she should know him, she is told she is the first girl not to recognize the A-list celebrity, Wu Bai, while a thought bubble mocks her as a bandit's sister. Ignoring the interruption, Shang Xiaoyan asks Li Qiao what she'd like to eat, to which she replies with a surprised question about him treating her to dinner. He confirms that it's her reward for winning, causing her to blush slightly. Agreeing to whatever he chooses, Li Qiao excuses herself to change, thinking to herself how deadly handsome he is. As she leaves, Ubai's friend asks Shang Xiaoyan why he brought the very girl his brother, Shang Lu, wants to break an engagement with. Ubai asks Xiaoyan if he intends to be her rebound, but his friend quickly shuts him down, explaining that Xiaoyan bringing her here proves she's important to him. Ubai reaches for Shang Xiaoyan's arm to ask him a question. Having returned for her bag, Li Qiao calmly interrupts, correcting Ubai's use of rebound guy and noting she overheard their trash talk. Ubai challenges her, mentioning a score to settle with her brother, but she coolly retorts that it's not like he could beat her anyway. Shang Xiaoyan dismisses the argument, telling Li Qiao not to mind Ubai and that they should go eat. As Shang Xiaoyan and Li Qiao walk away together, Ubai and his friend watch them leave, wondering what's going on between the two. The scene shifts to an upscale restaurant where they are seated for dinner. Shang Xiaoyan tells her to stop staring and eat, but she cheekily asks him what he was thinking when Ubai called him a rebound guy. She jokingly suggests Obey should be sent to mine in Africa, but Shang Xiaoyan dryly states he owns no mines there, making her think he's still protecting his friend. He asks if she is serious about wanting Ubai sent to a mine, and she flirtatiously confirms. He dismisses the idea, explaining that Ubai is still under 3 film contracts with Yan Entertainment. Li Qiao slyly asks if they can reconsider after his contracts expire, and he agrees they could think about it then. Changing the subject, she asks for confirmation that her engagement to Shang Lu can definitely be cancelled. He reassures her it can be done, promising his father will personally visit next week to apologize. Li Qiao smiles, thanking Master Yan for keeping his word. That night, Li Qiao decides to hack into the phone of someone named Liu Yun to find Shang Xiaoyan's number. Clack, clack. After successfully finding the big boss's number, her screen flashes with an alert. Tisk! She realizes her intrusion has already been discovered. Meanwhile, a man berates Liu Yun for being so useless as to let his contacts be hijacked, and decides he must report the breach to Master Yan immediately. Liu Yun calls his boss, nervously informing Master Yan that there has been an incident. Reporting to Shang Xiaoyan, Liu Yun apologizes profusely, explaining his contacts were hacked and the number was compromised, before Shang Xiaoyan coolly asks if he tracked the culprit. Shang Xiaoyan stares thoughtfully at his phone. Reading Li Qiao's texts, He thinks she's impressive for finding his number, then accepts her WeChat request. Liu Yun reports that he has already alerted the Red Hackers team to handle the breach. Looking at his phone showing he's accepted her friend request, Shang Xiaoyan calmly tells him to drop the investigation. With a wave of his hand, he dismisses Liu Yun, who leaves in a state of shock, wondering why the boss is suddenly being so merciful. On Monday, at Nanyang Medical University's thesis defense, Li Qiao receives a text from Li Quan confirming the forum issue has been handled. She calmly glances up from her phone as the defense continues. When Zhang Yi is called as the next presenter, she walks up to Li Qiao's desk and sneers, asking if she dares to show up. Li Qiao smirks back, retorting that if Zhang Yi can be there, why can't she? Startled, Zhang Yi glares as students in the background begin whispering about a new online post on how to socially execute a homewrecker. As whispers fill the room, Zhang Yi notices everyone is staring at her and wonders why. Suddenly, an angry woman storms into the room, demanding to know where Li Qiao is. Zhang Yi slyly points out Li Qiao, thinking to herself, "Showtime." The woman furiously points at Li Qiao, screaming that she's a shameless homewrecker. Feigning concern, Zhang Yi steps in to defend Li Qiao, stating that while her family may be poor, she'd never be a mistress. The furious woman scoffs that Li Qiao is a pauper, accusing her of milking her husband's credit card for thousands every month. Li Qiao simply looks up, unfazed by the tirade. Finished, she asks coolly, her expression turning to an icy glare. Enraged that Li Qiao dares to speak, the woman raises her hand to strike her for being a shameless homewrecker. Li Qiao effortlessly catches the woman's wrist, shocking her with the unexpected resistance. Holding up her phone, Li Qiao addresses the woman as Lu Wen and calmly tells her to look before throwing hands. As Lu Wen stares at the phone, another student informs a professor that a new forum post proves Zhang Yi, not Li Qiao, is the real mistress, leaving Zhang Yi stunned. The phone displays comparison photos, Li Qiao with a man at the gallery versus Zhang Yi with another man in a hallway. Lu Wen turns on a terrified Zhang Yi, realizing she was the one sleeping with her husband and had framed Li Kuo. As Zhang Yi desperately blames Li Qiao, an enraged Lu Wen attacks her, grabbing her hair and screaming that she was cheated on and used. A man with glasses interrupts the fight, summoning Li Qiao, Zhang Yi, and Lu Wen to his office. In the dean's office, Lu Wen demands an explanation for his student's behavior, but he calmly advises patience, stating her husband will arrive shortly. Shocked that the dean called her husband, Lu Wen fumes while Li Qiao calmly checks her phone. Li Qiao watches this scene unfold, thinking to herself how dramatic it all is. While waiting, she pulls up her chat with Shang Xiaoyan, wondering what he's doing. She sends him a single wilted rose emoji. He replies asking what it is, so she sends 2 more wilted roses. After 5 minutes with no response, she wonders if she teased him too much or if he's just busy. Suddenly her phone rings, and she answers it in the tense office. Shang Xiaoyan's voice comes through the phone, asking if she's looking for a fight. Lu Wen overhears the dean's side of the conversation, confused by his exasperated yet indulgent tone with the student. Li Qiao confirms Yan is still on the line and asks who is trying to fight him. He dismisses it as an outsider and asks if she's being bullied at school. She cheekily boasts that she's the one who beat him, and he amusedly asks if her thesis defense is today. Surprised he knew, she confirms it's not over yet, and he tells her to focus. She ends the call with a thoughtful expression. The dean immediately asks who was on the phone, teasingly asking if she has a boyfriend now. She expertly deflects, asking her uncle if he knows her grandpa's secret to staying spry. A chibi drawing shows him reacting with comical annoyance, asking if she's calling him nosy. She smoothly backpedals, saying he's obviously far too busy to meddle. He gently pats her head, telling her to come to him immediately next time instead of handling things alone. The dean tells her to return to the thesis defense while he goes to the gate to fetch Lu Wen's husband. A man with dark styled hair stands outside, identified as Chen Lizhou. Chen Lizhou nervously greets his wife, but she furiously tells him to shut his mouth. He turns his glare on Zhang Yi, demanding to know if she orchestrated the chaos. Zhang Yi panics, trying to deny any involvement. He accuses her of scheming behind his back as she internally panics, recalling their plan was to use the affair to force a divorce and ruin Li Qiao. Chen Lizhou then approaches Li Qiao, bowing and apologizing profusely as she mentally notes his groveling behavior. Li Qiao accepts his apology but warns it better not happen again, adding that he will need to explain hacking her computer to the Secretary General. Terrified, Chen Lizhou wonders how she knows and what connection she has to Secretary General Li Jun that could ruin his career. Declaring it's not her problem, Li Chao calmly turns and leaves the office. On the phone with her brother, she confirms the situation is handled and thanks him for his support. Thinking the response was overkill, she notices a commotion at the school entrance as a car from the Yanhuan group arrives, making her wonder if it's Yan. Zhuifeng exits the car and approaches Li Cao, asking if she is all right. She coolly replies, asking why she wouldn't be. Feeling the situation has escalated, she asks if Yan is in the car, and Zhuifeng confirms, telling her to follow him. She gets into the car, where Shang Xiaoyan is sitting quietly, working on his laptop. Sitting across from him, she wonders if he came all this way for her, just as he asks if she fought with anyone. She innocently denies it, claiming to be a model student. He hands her a can, telling her to let the president know if she needs anything. Li Qiao looks on, thinking to herself that such a small matter didn't warrant his involvement. He dismisses it as a simple gesture, and seeing his kindness, she begins to make an offer. She invites him to lunch, and he gazes at her intensely in a silent, charged moment. 5 minutes later, she stands outside alone, dejectedly thinking he rejected her out of politeness. Just then, Zhuifeng appears, informing her the boss has already reserved a table for her at Crystal Pavilion. Surprised as she gets into a car, Li Chao asks when he even arranged this. Watching his car from afar, she wonders why he'd order lunch for her but not join her himself. Sui explains Shang Xiaoyan had to leave for an urgent forum in another city, so she thanks him through his assistant. From the restaurant window, she waves goodbye as his car pulls away. Inside the car, Shang Xiaoyan watches her go with a thoughtful expression. Arriving at Crystal Pavilion with friends, one of them expresses shock, asking how Li Qiao got access to the exclusive venue. Her friend nervously asks if they're about to be kicked out, but Li Qiao seems unconcerned. A staff member warmly welcomes Miss Lai, confirming her reservation is ready and leading the way. They are shown to a table with a lavish feast already prepared, with a note specifying it was made without any of her disliked ingredients. Touched that he remembered every food she avoids, she texts her thanks for the meal and receives an instant reply. Her two friends happily enjoy the surprise meal he arranged. Checking her phone, she sees his text exchange about rushing to Lin City and skipping lunch. A news report shows the opening ceremony for the forum in Yan City is happening today. Realizing he changed his entire itinerary for her and is now traveling without eating, she abruptly leaves, telling her friends the bill is handled. Her friends discover the meal was billed to the Yan group, with one friend noting how close she must be to Shang Xiaoyan. In a new car, Li Chao sets her navigation for the Yan City Convention Center, deciding to follow him. Meanwhile, a tired Shang Xiaoyan cancels his evening gala plans to make time. He picks up his phone. Seeing Li Cao's text asking about dinner, he's puzzled by her concern for his meals and simply replies with his location, hotel. On the phone, he seems surprised to hear she's in Yan City. Now at a hotel restaurant in a polka dot dress, Li Cao claims she's in town for the horticultural expo. After he asks if she's eaten, she says she's waiting for food and coyly invites him to join her. 20 minutes later, Zhuifeng confirms for his boss that Ms. Lai is waiting at a table in the restaurant. Zhuifeng has a chibi-style meltdown, wondering how she found the boss's top-secret hotel location. As Shang Xiaoyan approaches, he finds Li Qiao smiling, waiting for him at her table. She warmly thanks him for making the time to join her for dinner. He asks when she arrived, and she cheekily guesses he must have skipped lunch. He smirks, pointedly asking if she's trying to make up for something. Li Chao looks down for a moment, considering her response. She admits that she does want to make it up to him and asks if he'll give her the chance. He gazes at her with an intense, knowing look. A cute chibi version of her thinks, "You said it yourself," trapping him with his own words. Waiters arrive, bringing their covered dishes to the table. He begins cutting into his steak as she watches him across the table. A close-up shows a perfectly prepared steak dinner. He lifts a piece of steak on his fork, offering it to her. After she comments on respecting his preferences, he asks how long she plans to stay in the city. After learning she plans to drive back alone, he insists she return with him tomorrow and agrees to her plans. After dinner, the two walk together outside the restaurant at night. His assistant, Zhuifeng, quietly whispers something to Shang Xiaoyan. He suggests they return to their rooms to rest and she wishes him good night. The next morning, a woman in a pink dress is shocked to find Li Chao staying in the VIP room right next to the boss. She then notices blood stains on the floor near the bodyguards, wondering if Shang Xiaoyan is injured. The woman asks a guard if she can enter, who hesitates, thinking that while it's against the rules, everyone knows Miss Lai has special privileges. A guard opens a hotel room door for Miss Lai, thinking to himself that she must be an important person who shouldn't be offended. Li Qiao enters the luxurious suite to find Shang Xiaoyan sitting on a couch with two other men. Shang Xiaoyan greets her, asking if she's awake, while his assistant Zhui Feng explains to her that an incident last night didn't scare her, he hopes. As he cleans a bloody wound on Shang Xiaoyan's arm, she assures him she's not afraid, having seen worse, while tweezers attend to a deep gash on his arm. Li Qiao mentally critiques the suturing, noting that improperly aligned wound edges will cause muscle tissue to layer incorrectly. Shang Xiaoyan asks if she has experience with knife wounds, and she confidently confirms she's dealt with many. She offers to treat his wound herself if he trusts her. With intense focus, Li Chao puts on gloves and prepares her equipment to suture his arm. After expertly finishing the procedure, she asks if he knows the recovery precautions, and Zui Feng thanks her before leading the other man out of the room. Shang Xiaoyan instructs his injured subordinate to return to Nanyang to recover, telling him to have Mochizuki handle his duties. In the hallway, the subordinate marvels at Miss Lai's professional suturing skills, but Zui Feng dismisses his concerns, trusting the boss's judgment. Now alone with Shang Xiaoyan, Li Qiao offers to head back by herself if he's still busy with his business. He looks at her intently, promising that no matter how busy he is, he will keep his word to her. When he asks if she's learned suturing before, she vaguely confirms it. He compliments her technique, and she internally reflects that as a member of the Shang family, renowned for their medical lineage, he would know good work. He stands and offers to take her home, which she accepts, dismissing his previous praise as an offhand comment. During the rainy car ride, she rests with her eyes closed. The two sit together in the quiet intimacy of the car. Shang Xiaoyan softly asks if she's awake, and she confirms she is. Looking out the rain-streaked window, she senses that something feels off. Seeing a white Jeep outside, she asks what is happening. He casually dismisses the commotion as small fry as their car is shown surrounded on a wet street. Suddenly, a modified white Jeep speeds aggressively towards their car. Shang Xiaoyan calmly analyzes the attackers' vehicles, concluding their weak frames and inexperienced drivers are no real threat to him. He watches the approaching danger with a confident, almost amused expression. Li Chao remains silent, her expression serious and thoughtful. Seeing his faint smile, she asks what he finds funny, but he denies laughing at her. He explains that hearing her confident analysis actually makes him happy. Shouting, "Look out!" he pulls her close, just as another vehicle is about to ram them. He holds her protectively as the impact rocks the car. Amid the chaos of the crash, Shang Xiaoyan furiously demands to know what his security is doing, and the driver apologizes, promising to handle it. He asks if she's hurt, but she confidently assures him it's not that easy to hurt her. Taking her hand, he looks relieved and simply says, "Good." He lets out a soft sound, his gaze still fixed on her. Li Chao returns his intense gaze, her own expression unreadable. A silent, charged moment passes between them in the aftermath of the attack. Hours later, as they arrive at her destination, chibi versions of them thank each other for the ride. Li Chao walks along a sunny street in a wealthy-looking neighborhood. A man with blonde hair and a striped shirt appears before her, and she stops, regarding him coolly. The blonde man confronts her, asking if she was with Shang Xiaoyan after seeing his motorcade, and she clarifies they just returned together. In a comical chibi outburst, the blonde man yells, questioning how that's any different. Grabbing her wrist, he angrily demands to know how many times he has to tell her to stay away from Shang Xiaoyan. Unfazed, Li Qiao asks if he has a grudge against Shang Xiaoyan, prompting the blonde man to shout, "Number